Howdy folks, Dan Davis here. Welcome back to the 3D Sapiens Road Show. I'm going to do a sunset tour of the campsite right now for a couple reasons. This is kind of an experiment because I want to see how well my clearing trees and whatever have improved the lighting. Let's see, and so far it looks pretty good. So I'm going to walk around. I'm also going to show you kind of how to get here if you're one of the locals and kind of want to know where this is at. I'm going to walk back a bit and I'll show you how I found this, which involves a bear. Because one of the things I was going to talk about was like, okay, what about the dangers up here? What do we have to worry about? And I was like, I don't really worry about much. And you have to worry about mountain lions. But that's one of the reasons to have better visibility, because then they can't sneak up on you. But they're rare and far between. Bears are not a problem. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So other than that, I was like, what else is there up here? You know, other than mosquitoes in the summertime. But so today I found a centipede. So that could hurt. And there's probably some black widows, brown recluses, or something like that amongst this dead wood. So otherwise, but I just haven't seen much. Not a whole lot of deer, not a whole lot of much of anything around here. But people hunt because this is national. I mean, this is national forest, so it's not national park. People can hunt. Anyway, okay, so let's go here. Sun's about to go down, so color should be good, and hopefully there's enough light. So I'm kind of gonna walk out of here, showing what I cleared up today. If you saw the one earlier today, you'll notice things have changed. And then I'm going to come back the way you would normally drive in, so you can see what it looks like as you're approaching this thing. So, here we go. Okay, so, starting from the kickback place. Oh, I'm tired. I cut a lot today. And then I cleared down here, you can see. So there was one, this thing was right there, I think, if I recall correctly, or over there. I don't remember now, no. Yeah, this thing was over there. And then there was another one about this size that basically just disintegrated when I pushed it over. So I've been clearing the land, clearing the ground, making it smooth and all that stuff, and kind of marking the trails. There's the restroom, if you see way down the. So that's there's a restroom down there. Toilet tent. Okay. All right. So yeah, I was clearing. There was another decaying log right here that became a lot of this dirt here, because that cedar, once it's down to little pieces, it just kind of grinds up. And so I was kind of carrying it around to mark the trail a bit. And one of the things about doing this job here, this is where I was talking about this being a very meditative thing, because it's like, you know, the purposeful walking that they talk about, kind of meditation, where every step you take, you want to step on something. Whoops, that was supposed to pass. Okay, you want to step on, you know, a twig to break it. You want to smooth the ground out. You want to step on something like that and grind it up, or whatever. So it's not rocket science, so you don't need to think about it. You're just kind of looking and stepping and looking and stepping, and that's a very meditative thing. And it's one of the kind of Tai Chi kind of exercises. There's harder things, like I was cutting the tree down today and whatnot, and moving rocks, all these rocks you notice. So, especially if you got a bad back like me. But, it's all good. In the end, it's all good. And again, for those of you just tuning in, this is not like a weekend campsite. This is for the whole nomadic life thing, where you're going to set up campsites like this around the country. Okay? And so then you can come stay at one for a couple weeks, then you move on to another one for a couple weeks, and so on. But they're there. People can't really steal rocks usually or whatever. So once they're set up nicely, I don't think people will mess with them. But that's one of the reasons this place is kind of hidden. I'm keeping it that way for a reason. Okay, so here's some, just talking about logs I cut down earlier. So this whole area now that's kind of demarcated by these logs, saplings, whatever, that are dead trees that I've knocked down, and a couple other logs that were around. This now encloses the kind of area. This, I'm not going to clean it up too much, like over, you know, over by the campsite where the rocks are. Like over there. I'm not going to clean it up like that. But I'll keep it, like, all this stuff here will eventually get burned. So it's all firewood, all the little stuff. And then I'll just establish a little trail that goes around the outside of this thing. So if I'm looking for firewood, notice I've got some already leaned up against things to dry out. Okay, so here's where we were at earlier today with the big tree that went boom. And this is what it looks like after you knock all the dead stuff off of it. Notice I got piles of stuff ready for the fire next time. So I've still got a bunch of cleaning to do in here, as you can see. But here's the side of the campsite. Okay. And for those of you going, all right already, man, we've seen the campsite enough. Well, this is about as good as it's gonna get. I mean, I'll clean it up. I may have one more of these tour kind of things later on, but basically, I just wanted to show you how you get here and kind of what it looks like once it's all set up. Okay, so now we are heading roughly about east right now. Here's where I drive, because there's some rocks and stuff right there that kind of a pain to avoid at night. So I drive out this way. If you saw a couple travel shows ago, I was actually filming while I was driving out, and this was mostly covered with snow. A lot of it had melted already, but okay, so bearings again, that's about northeast, north, northwest. There's the campsite. Normally walking, I would just walk there. Then there's this little kind of mini forest, and then there's down here where everybody else camps. Or, okay, again, I'm looking up northeast past, you probably can't see anything here. Oh, there's a vehicle, look. See the lights out there? There's a vehicle. There was somebody camping here. I heard kids and everything screaming and whatever. But as you can see down here, it looks like City Park. I mean, it's been completely cleared. And in fact, my first campsite, as far as I could get in this mess, was right there. I kind of cleaned that out. Right where that big log is. That's car was parked just to the right. Fireplace is just there, and so on. But okay, so while I was here this past summer, 2017, one time I went walking a little bit, and getting us back to the animals and the critters you got to be careful about. Apparently around here, bears are not one of the things you have to worry about, because I'm walking down the trail, this other trail over there, and there was this big brown lump in the trail about, I don't know, where those trees are down there, where the road kind of turns. About that distance, I see this brown lump, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And about the same time, he sees me, and he took off running. Just running the other direction. So I'm like, oh, okay, so he's not afraid, or I mean, I don't have to be afraid of him. So then later on, I could hear him crunching. It was from there, and he went around, and he was back in here. He was back in kind of where my campsite is. In fact, that's what I was getting to, is I could hear him, so I wanted to check him out. And this is one of the coolest things I've done. I know it's just a little black bear, but whatever. He didn't realize I was here. So I was real quiet. I can be very quiet when I need to, and I was making sure I was not upwind of him and all that. And so I was kind of peeking through the brush, and he was tearing up logs and stuff. And then after about 5 or 10 minutes, I mean, that's kind of cool, just watching a bear going about his business in the wild, not worried about each other, not worried about you, not knowing there's somebody watching him, and so on. Anyway, it's pretty cool. But in the process, I ended up back in here, and I saw this, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This is pretty flat. This is pretty cool. And so when things got too busy down at the other campsite, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go clear out some space. Now, keep in mind, this was welcome to the jungle, as I said earlier. I mean, it was a lot of brush and stuff. I burned a lot of stuff, cleared a lot of stuff out. But I saw how flat it was, and that hardly anybody ever comes back in here. I'm like, cool. So, thanks, bear. Anyway, and okay, one of the things or a couple of the things that were here already. So driving into the campsite, here's the road. Notice it always takes little turns. I don't go straight ever. I do little turns here and there. I go around things. That way it's harder to follow because I don't want a lot of people back in here. Anyway, so one of the things I noticed is this log. The one I told you reminds me of one that Al's sitting on over there. Say hi, Al. Anyway, So I saw this log and I'm like, oh, cool, that's like that pipeline in Ecuador. But there was this, and then almost at 90-degree angle, there's that other big one back there. That kind of continues in pieces, and I've moved these pieces around, and some of them decomposed when I moved them and whatever, but it made kind of a 90-degree, you know, like a corner. And right at the corner was the fireplace. And even though this was covered with brush and whatever, so I'm like, oh, this would be awesome, man. Here we are. So, I had it cleared out over there, but that was just like too much. I just need enough room to turn around. But so friends and family or whatever, there's plenty of room for guest tents. here's a place right here, and I can tell you all kinds of places around here. But anyway, so here's walking in. Say hi, Sue, buddy. And ta-da! I cleaned out a bit more around here and so on. Burned last night. I burned a lot of stuff in back in there. Friday night and last night. And just clean it up so it looks nice. Et voilà. Nous sommes finis avec les tours. So, thanks for tuning in. Again, the things I was covering is just better lighting, and it looks pretty good to me. From what I can see, the lighting looks pretty good. So, lighting's better now. I can see the critters before they can jump me and all that stuff. Got plenty of firewood. And it looks good, because again, if you're setting up, going back to the whole nomadic lifestyle thing, let me finish on that, because that's what this whole roadshow thing is all about. All the other stuff, health and whatever, is just incorporating all that into the lifestyle. But if you're going to set up a nice campsite, you want it to be nice. You don't want a dump. You don't want a dump. You don't want a bunch of people around. You don't want a bunch of noise and so on and so forth. So here's what we ended up with. And anyway, thanks again. And hopefully this will be probably the last tour, other than when I finally get totally done, where I'm like, that's it, I'm not doing anything else other than collecting firewood. At that point I'll probably do one more, but for now this is the next to last, so bear with me. Thank you. Au revoir.